November isn't when your garden goes to sleep. It's when next spring's success is actually decided. While most gardeners are putting things away, the smartest ones are out there right now doing the work that'll have them harvesting weeks earlier than their neighbours. Miss this window and you'll be playing catch-up all season long. Spring actually starts in November. Here's what nobody tells you about spring gardening. By the time you're planting in March or April, you've already missed half the game. The gardeners pulling up carrots in early May while you're just getting seeds in the ground. They started in November. Professional growers know this secret. Cold weather is actually your ally, not your enemy. Think about garlic for a second. Those cloves need weeks of cold temperatures below 40 degrees to split into multiple cloves and form full bulbs. Plant them in spring and you'll get one sad little clove back. Same goes for fruit trees, berry bushes, and dozens of vegetables. Their roots need time to establish while the top growth is dormant, building a strong foundation underground that explodes into growth when warmth returns. This is called vernalization, and it's nature's way of ensuring plants don't waste energy at the wrong time. When you work with this natural cycle instead of against it, everything becomes easier. Your spring plantings establish faster, produce earlier, and handle stress better because they're not rushing to catch up. The biggest shift in thinking: stop seeing November as the end and start seeing it as the beginning. While your soil is still workable and temperatures haven't crashed, you have this golden window to set up systems, prep beds, and get plants in the ground that'll thank you 6 months from now. Wait until the ground freezes or spring mud season hits, and you'll be fighting an uphill battle. The gardeners who seem to have magic touch, they're just working smarter by starting earlier, and November is where that advantage is built. Pruning now prevents disaster later. Walk past any neglected fruit tree in spring and you'll see the same problem. A tangled mess of crossing branches, dead wood, and growth shooting up vertically, instead of spreading out for fruit production. That tree needed attention in November, not April. Once sap starts flowing and buds break, you've missed your chance for the year. Deciduous fruit trees like apples, peaches, and plums should be pruned after their leaves drop, but before spring growth begins. Right now, you're looking for the 4 Ds: dead, dying, damaged, and dysfunctional branches. Dead wood is obvious. It's brittle and doesn't bend. Dysfunctional means branches growing inward toward the center, rubbing against others, or shooting straight up as water sprouts that'll never produce fruit. Here's the mistake I see constantly. People get nervous and barely trim anything, or they go wild and hack off half the tree. The sweet spot is removing about 20 to 25% of growth, focusing on opening up the center structure for airflow and sunlight. Cut just above outward-facing buds so new growth spreads wide instead of clogging the middle. Roses need the same attention now. Cut them back by about 1/3, remove any canes thinner than a pencil, and eliminate anything crossing through the center. Sounds harsh, but roses respond to hard pruning with vigorous spring growth and more blooms. Grapes are even more dramatic. You're removing about 90% of last year's growth, leaving just a few strong canes. Asparagus fronds should be cut to ground level once they've yellowed and returned energy to the crowns. Do this work now in the dormant season, and you're directing the plant's energy exactly where you want it when growth resumes. Soil preparation nobody talks about. Spring soil is cold, wet, and compacted, the worst possible condition for planting. Work it too early and you'll destroy soil structure for the entire season. But if you prep your beds now in November, winter weather does half the work for you. Freeze-thaw cycles break up clumps, organic matter starts decomposing, and by March you'll have friable, ready-to-plant soil while everyone else is still waiting for mud to dry. Start with a soil test. This isn't optional if you want serious results. You can't fix problems you don't know about, and guessing at amendments wastes money and time. Send samples to your local extension office or use a quality home test kit. You need to know pH levels and what nutrients you're actually missing before dumping random fertilizers into beds. Once you know what you're working with, November is prime time for amendments. Spread compost, aged manure, or leaf mold across your beds, a good 2 to 3 inches. Don't dig it in aggressively, just layer it on top and let winter weather incorporate it naturally. Add rock phosphate or green sand if your test showed deficiencies. These amendments take months to break down into plant-available forms, so adding them now means they're ready when spring planting starts. The final step everyone skips: mulch before winter hits hard. A thick layer of shredded leaves, straw, or wood chips protects soil structure from erosive winter rain and suppresses weeds that would otherwise get a head start. This mulch also moderates soil temperature, preventing the wild swings that damage beneficial microbes and earthworms. Come spring, you'll pull back the mulch to find dark, crumbly, living soil underneath, ready to grow anything you put in it. That's the advantage of November prep work. The garlic and bulb window is closing. If you only do one thing in November, plant garlic. Seriously, this is the crop that separates gardeners who plan ahead from those who scramble every spring wondering why their garlic never sized up properly. Garlic cloves need 4 to 6 weeks of cold exposure below 40 degrees to trigger bulb division. Plant in spring and you'll harvest something that looks exactly like what you planted. One single clove instead of a full head. Break apart your seed garlic into individual cloves, keeping the papery skin intact. Plant them pointy end up, about 3 to 4 inches deep and 6 inches apart. In colder zones, add a thick mulch layer after the ground freezes to prevent heaving. The cloves won't grow much visible top growth until spring, but underground they're establishing roots that'll support massive bulbs come June or July. Overwintering onions and shallots follow the same principle. Short day varieties work for southern gardeners, long day types for northern zones. Plant sets or transplants now and they'll build root systems through winter, then surge into growth when daylight increases. You'll be harvesting full-size onions by late spring, while March planters are still waiting for seedlings to establish. Even in small spaces, this works beautifully. Garlic grows perfectly in containers. Use pots at least 8 to 10 inches deep with excellent drainage. Group several cloves in a large container, or dedicate window boxes to a whole row. Shallots are even more compact and produce better in tight quarters than regular onions. The math is simple. 1 clove planted in November becomes 8 to 10 cloves by summer. 1 shallot bulb multiplies into 6 to 8 bulbs. That return on investment only happens with proper cold exposure, and the clock is ticking. Once the ground freezes solid, you've lost this opportunity until next fall. Smart planting for continuous harvest. November. Planting isn't about cramming summer crops into cold weather. It's about choosing vegetables that actually prefer growing now. These plants have been bred for centuries to handle frost, short days, and cool soil. Fight their nature, and you'll fail. Work with it, and you'll eat fresh greens all winter. Spinach thrives in cold weather, getting sweeter after frost exposure. Direct sow it now, and you'll harvest baby leaves within 30 days, or let it mature into full bunches. Kale, Swiss chard, and collards are nearly indestructible once established. They'll stand through freezing nights and bounce back every morning. Asian greens like bok choy, mizuna, and tatsoi grow fast in cool weather, without the bitter bolting that ruins them in summer heat. Root crops are your secret weapon for storage. Carrots, radishes, beets, and turnips can all go in the ground now if you have 50 to 60 days before consistent hard freezes. The cool soil keeps them crisp and sweet. Radishes especially are perfect for impatient gardeners. 30 days from seed to plate even in November. Here's the strategy most people miss. Succession planting. Don't sow entire packets at once. Plant a short row of lettuce today, another in 2 weeks, a third 2 weeks after that. Stagger your crops and you'll harvest continuously instead of drowning in produce 1 week and having nothing the next. Protection extends everything. Row covers add 4 to 8 degrees of frost protection and can mean the difference between a plant surviving or dying. Cold frames create microclimates that let you grow through winter in zones where it shouldn't be possible. Even simple plastic cloches over individual plants help. The investment in these season extenders pays back immediately in earlier and later harvests. What's the first thing you're planting or prepping this November? Drop it in the comments below, protecting what you already have. The transition from fall to winter kills more plants through neglect than actual cold does. Tender perennials that could have been saved get left outside too long. Hardy vegetables that would have survived until December get abandoned. Herbs that could have provided fresh flavour all winter die because nobody thought to bring them indoors. November is when you make these critical decisions about what stays, what goes, and what gets special treatment. Frost-tender plants like basil, tomatoes, peppers, and summer squash won't survive a hard freeze. Once temperatures drop into the mid-30s, harvest everything you can from these plants. Green tomatoes ripen indoors on a windowsill. Peppers can be frozen whole or dried. Then cut these plants at the base and compost them. Leave the roots in the soil to feed microbes and add organic matter. But here's what people forget. Many plants can survive frost with minimal protection. Broccoli, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, and cauliflower actually improve in flavour after cold exposure. Lettuce under row cover handles nights in the 20s. Carrots and parsnips can stay in the ground under mulch, sweeter with each frost. You're not trying to save everything, you're strategically protecting what extends your harvest. The smartest move is potting up herbs before the first freeze. Rosemary, thyme, oregano, parsley, and even pepper plants can live indoors through winter if you prune them back, dig carefully around the root ball, and transition them to containers with good drainage. Put them in south-facing windows and water when the top inch of soil dries out. You'll have fresh herbs through February while everyone else is buying sad grocery store bunches. This one action, moving plants indoors before frost, transforms your winter cooking completely. Planning and prep work that saves spring chaos. Spring hits like an avalanche. One week it's snowing, the next week you've got 3 weekends to get everything planted, or you've missed optimal timing. Gardeners who wait until March to order seeds find their favourite varieties sold out. Those who haven't gathered supplies end up paying premium prices at big box stores for inferior products. The difference between a smooth spring and a stressful scramble comes down to November planning. Order your seeds now. Seriously, right after you finish this video. Seed companies restock inventory through winter, but popular heirloom varieties and specialty items sell out fast once January hits and everyone starts planning at once. Make a list of what you grew this year that worked, what you want to try next year, and what you're growing specifically for preservation or storage. Buy those seeds in November and you're guaranteed to get exactly what you want. Gather your seed starting supplies while you're thinking about it. You'll need trays, cell inserts, seed starting mix, labels, and grow lights if you're starting indoors. Check what you have, test old equipment, and replace anything that failed last year. Nothing's more frustrating than starting seeds in February, only to discover your heat mat doesn't work or you're short on containers. November is also your last chance to clean up problems before winter locks them into place. Diseased plant material needs to go in the trash, not the compost. Fungal spores and bacterial issues will survive winter and reinfect next year's garden. Pest eggs and larvae hide in garden debris, so a thorough cleanup now means fewer battles in spring. Walk your beds, pull dead plants, rake up fallen leaves from diseased specimens, and remove anything that hosted problems this season. This unglamorous work prevents compounding issues that get worse year after year when ignored. November isn't downtime, it's when next year's garden is actually built. Start with just one task today, whether that's ordering seeds, planting garlic, or prepping a single bed. That small action now multiplies into weeks of advantage when spring arrives.
Hey guys, Arthur here. If you found value in this video, YouTube thinks you'll like this next one too.